What does 2025 hold? I sat down with an author and executive for Philip Morris International, who's been predicting trends since the 1990s. And joining us now is Marian Salzman. She is the author of a new book, The New Megatrends, Seeing Clearly in the Age of Disruption. Marian, good to see you here with us.
Nice to see you.
We had John last year talking about a different subject. This year we're going to talk about trends, which you've been studying for 30 years.
Sadly, yes.
Well, no, that's a good thing. Experience is a good thing. So if you look back at the last 3 decades, name a couple of trends that you spotted before anyone else saw them.
So the one I'm going to be most famous for is obviously metrosexuality, this idea of the feminization of men, which you could argue has been playing out in a major way now with the arguments around toxic masculinity and everything else. I would say the rise of the unreal world, the cyber world. I mean, it sounded really innovative in 93,
didn't it,
94.
though?
And today we don't know how to cope without our phones, our connectivity, our cable TV. And then I think the last one most recently, well, obviously there's climate. And I mean, I've been talking about Mother Nature being angry with us for 10 or 15 years, but I think the degree to which we are feeling the impact of climate change is probably more significant now than ever before.
And so one of the trends you talk about in the book is that people will be sort of taking on climate change in their own little way, correct?
I think that's right, because I think with everything we're trying to take it on in our own little way. I mean, we can't change the world, we can't facilitate world peace, we can't do very much, but we can certainly hunker down and do things where we control our own household, we control our own shopping basket, we control to some extent our own global footprint. And so I think it's this idea, it's as much environmental as it is about personal control. Like, I just want to make a difference. I think it's this whole reason everyone's veering hyper-local now on their issues.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of the other trends you're seeing that you might want to predict for 2025. Go on a limb there.
I think the big one, obviously, is burrowing in. I think that we've come out of COVID. We've come out of this whole rat race to hustle, and we kind of are romanticizing some of what we had when we were hunkered down at home, when we weren't back to an office 5 days a week or 4 days a week, when we felt we could manage a very controlled environment. So I think there's a lot of into that, and obviously people are looking to digitally detox, even though our addiction or our dependence on digitivity is more meaningful than ever before. We don't even like to get into the car without being sure our phones are synced to our steering wheel, et cetera, et cetera.
There seems to be a little bit of backlash about some kind of borrowing, like working remotely, because I know in Connecticut they spent a lot of money renovating state buildings, and now these workers are at home, and some of the mayors are like, bring them back. President-elect Trump is saying he wants them back as well.
And I think we're going to come back, and we have come back, but in a hybrid way.
Okay.
So I think that we no longer think of the office-based work week as 5 days a week. I think we are negotiating it for it to be 3, and we've accepted it's going to be 4. But I think the 5-day in-office work week is historic.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of people invest in their nests, so to speak, in recent years.
And I think that you're going to see more and more of that, of people wanting to be able to do everything at home. They want to study at home. They want their kids to study at home. They want the best possible kitchen so that they can control what their family eats. They want really cozy bedrooms. You no longer think of the bedroom just as a place to sleep, but it's also this sort of zen-like oasis. So I think it's more and more emphasis on a home that is really a safe space.
And one of the things that you talked about was the end of the hustle. What do you mean by that?
I think we were rushing around, we were racing around, we were looking for extra ways to put ourselves forward, and we sort of want to find equilibrium. We want to find this place where enough is enough. We don't need to sign up for more. A little bit is plenty.
And let's talk about the return of slow fame. Slow fame, I didn't know was gone, but apparently it faded a little bit. Now it's coming back.
Yeah, I don't think we want insta everything so fast. I mean, I think that it's really a matter of you don't necessarily want to be a Kardashian. You want to be respected in your community. I think that we're not looking to publicize everything right now. I think it's about privatizing what's special to oneself, recognizing increasingly as you live in a very transparent culture, there are very few secrets. So with the secrets you can hang on to, you want to hold close to your heart.
What about consumer trends this year? What are you seeing?
I see people buying less. I see people buying renewal clothing. I mean, I think when I go on to a Nordstrom Rack or a Saks Off Fifth, and some of my options are buy things somebody else already worn. I think a decade ago I would have been horrified, and today I think, oh, this is very smart. I think you're seeing more people rent their wardrobes. You're seeing more people go over to these packaged meal plans. So we're looking for efficiency, we're looking for cost effectiveness, but we're not looking to buy lots and lots of stuff. I think there's a backlash against stuff, even though the Container Store is tanking.
Yeah.
So exactly what would have helped you organize all that stuff? You're like, no, I don't even want the organizers to go with the stuff.
Do you see more big box stores going away?
I think very sadly the tyranny of the middle, I mean, I've been talking about it for 25 years, but I think the department store is in a terrible place. You don't want a one-stop shop for absolutely everything, least of all at traditional retail prices. And I think you want to be able to curate everything you buy, and I think e-commerce has just made it so easy.
One of the things that I liked about the what you wrote was the return of delight.
Yeah, I think people just want to be have a sensational experience, but it could be a really simple piece of Turkish taffy. It could be a great smoothie. It doesn't need to be sort of a Ferrari or a Mercedes quality experience. We're looking to just to find pleasure.
People want happiness.
Happiness, they want joy, I mean, they want kindness. I think that there's a great consumer trend right now of paying it forward, getting to the line in Starbucks or at the grocery store and saying, you know what, I'm going to cover that person behind me. I think it's a joyful moment. Yeah,
I was watching an interview on CNBC with the woman who runs Chrysler, and of course Chrysler's been in some trouble, but now they have this new plan to come back. And one of the things that she was saying, you want people to feel good about their cars. Their products.
And I think we want to feel good about people being able to come back. I think one of the things we're starting to see is there are many dips and flows in life, and we want to be able to resurrect.
Any last-minute thoughts for 2025 as we look ahead?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see increasing polarization. At the same time, we're going to see a lot more acceptance of people with whom we disagree. I think we're going to move back towards a more consensual way of speaking to one another. I hope so.
Author. The name of the book again is?
New Megatrends.
New Megatrends. You can just call it New Megatrends. It has a longer title, which I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
New Megatrends is plenty.
Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Best of luck in 2025. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much.
Remembering the Hartford Whalers 50 years later. We'll be right back.